all awake thanks to Tom. It's great to be here, and it sure is great to have all of you here. You are the heart and soul. All of you here this morning, you're the heart and soul of America, and you're the heart and soul of my campaign. And in 2010, it was with the help of so many of you. We didn't do it ourselves. We didn't do it with a big machine. We did it with the people who live in this community, who care so deeply about our nation and about our district and about our kids and our grandkids. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your commitment to this campaign. I just want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, let me just tell you how well the volunteers are doing. The RNC has in the back of our office, as you know, a victory center where we make phone calls. With the help of you all, we have made over 110,000 phone calls. That is our voter ID program. That will be our Get Out the Vote. So I want to thank you all for that kind of commitment. That's the level of commitment that our volunteers have. That's a level of love that you all have for the United States of America. And as Tom mentioned, this year, more than ever, our very nation hangs in the balance. And we are going to make a decision as a nation as to what direction we're going to take. Whether we're going to grow that government in Washington, that big central planner who doesn't know what's good for your kids and your grandkids, who doesn't understand about health care and how it's such an individual, personal decision. Or are we going to get back to what made this country the great nation that it is? That we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. That the rights that we enjoy, who we are as Americans, is because of rights granted to us from our Creator. And that the only role of that government down in Washington is to protect those rights. And we have come so far from that, where we have a government now that wants to grant us our rights. We just came this morning from a ribbon cutting. A young woman, 23 years old, a graduate of the Fashion Institute of Technology, opened up her own boutique shop in the town of Fayetteville. And I spoke there this morning to this audience. Her family was there, her parents, her aunts, her uncles who helped her grow to get this business off the ground. That's the fabric of America. That's what made this nation the great, successful nation it is. It's the individuals, it's people like you, not the government. The government is only as good as how much they tax us and all of the bureaucracies down there. And there is such a disconnect. When you talk to the EPA or the Department of Labor or the Department of Energy, there's such a disconnect from what they do and the regulations and the policies that they enact versus what makes this country the great nation that it is. And that's what's at stake this year in this election. This race, my specific congressional race, is about someone who has lived here, worked here, volunteered here, raised my kids here. My kids have gone to schools here, both public and private. And I'll be telling you, when Dan Maffei tells me I don't know about education, I want to say, Dan, please, I've got 13 grandchildren. I get education, and I get that the current education system is failing. It's morally failing our children. And what we need to do is not abolish public education, but to make it better. You know, the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing and look for a different outcome. That's the Department of Education. Those monies should be given to the state, to the local districts, to communities, and to parents who know what their kids need, who know what's best for their children, who know what the kids should eat for lunch. Not this federal government down there that wants to create policy, but that's what Dan Maffei thinks. He thinks the government has the answers. He thinks that they know what's best for us. And that's this administration, and that's the policies of Dan Maffei. And we need to work. This morning, I am asking all of you to be engaged and to be involved as you've never committed to anything like this in your life. We need you. We need your help. Today we have a program called Adopt a Voter. You can get involved in that program, and then you reach out to your family and your friends, and you tell them how important this election is, and the difference between Dan Maffei and me. Someone who has not lived in this community, someone who doesn't know this community, doesn't know the vibrancy, the wonderful people who live here, now wants to come back and be our congressman. Versus someone who has lived here, and whether I'm in Congress or not, this is my home. My 91-year-old mother lives in Auburn, New York. My home, my roots, my whole life is in upstate New York. And whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, you call our official office and you will get service. Because we love the people here, we care about the people in upstate New York, and we understand that we are public servants and that our job exists because of all of you and because of the people who live in this district. And our biggest job is to make sure that anyone in this district has what they need to have. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart that you would get involved in Adopt a Voter. Please get signs. We want to get, last time we had 6,000 signs. We want to get beyond that this time. So grab signs, make sure your family, make sure your kids, if you have children who are off in college, make sure they get an absentee ballot. And just to be as engaged and to talk to as many people as you can about the importance of this election. Tom mentioned the debt. We reached the $16 trillion debt ceiling. We are about to embark, unless this administration does something or the Senate, with sequestration that will devastate our military, that will devastate the defense contractors in our district. There are so many issues and so many important issues. This is truly an election of a lifetime. So I ask all of you, not for your support because I know I have your support, but that you would dig in just a little deeper, just a little harder, understanding what's at stake this year. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world, and it's in jeopardy right now because of the failed policies of this administration and Dan Maffei. We need to work together to cross that finish line. We need to work together to save and preserve a future for our kids and our grandkids. When I ran for Congress, it was because of my kids and my grandkids. That was it. I didn't need a job. I had a job. I didn't need, I just wanted to do the right thing for our nation. And that's what this is about. This isn't about Ann Marie Buerkle. This isn't about you individually. This is about the United States of America and making sure that the nation we give to our kids is a better nation, filled with more opportunity, filled with that American dream, filled with all of the things that make this country unique in all of the world. And as we gather here this morning, and Vic mentioned it in our prayer, please let's keep in our thoughts and our prayers the men and women who are serving our nation as we speak here. And yesterday, 2 Marines were killed in Afghanistan. The day before, we lost the ambassador to Libya, 2 Navy SEALs, and a civilian. Our nation is in peril. And it's Americans like you who will rise up this November the 6th, who will take a stand, who will work to get this nation back to the greatness that it is and that it can be. So I thank all of you very much. And before I end, how many veterans do we have in the group today? Thank you for your service and your sacrifice to this nation. May God bless our military. May God bless our veterans. May God bless all of you for your love of this nation. May God bless this great nation, the United States of America. Thank you so very much.